doing? Because with a lot of politics, then some of the successes that you would say the government has been able to achieve cannot actually be seen. Is that...
As I said, I disagree with her. I would encourage politics that is constructive, that always let's use the positive lenses when we are speaking out things. Because, as my colleague mentioned, politics is about discussions on how to share, you know, government, the cake, you know, the taxes that have been shared, the development agenda. So people have to speak out, leaders have to speak out. But the thing is, let us not be negative, because we have only one country that belongs to all of us. We must defend it. Let's not create negative discussions. But on the other side, also, we should be able to speak the agendas of what government is doing. It should be so clear. Let's hear the needs from the Kenyans. What do they want? What do they think the government is not doing well, so that we can improve on the same? That's now comes in the aspect of the opposition leadership that is there. That let the opposition leaders speak on clarity of terms, things that are, you know, that are clear to the government, so that, but it should not come from the point of what we are seeing now, creations of stories. Sometimes you hear some leaders from particular sections of people saying that, you know, there's some alcohol that is being open to particular regions, and those kinds of negative conversations that then brings in leaders from those in government to object on the same, or to approach it from an abrasive perspective. If we tone down the conversations to be conversations of serious ideas and discussions on the table, this country is going to be better. By 2026 now, let's bring in now the discussions that will head towards formation of government in 2027. But for now, because it's our country, we have a government in place, let us have constructive politics.
Well, those that are being criticized, especially those that speak on behalf of the government, can they now take that particular criticism in a different way instead of fueling the fire? Because now you say the way the opposition is actually doing it seems to make them very abrasive when it comes to how they respond to
No, I was just saying that let's not have those kinds of things. But I think we, in government, as you've seen, we have doing so much. We have a lot to talk about that we are doing, that sometimes all that we just want to say is in those many programs that government is doing, if there are some things within those programs that are not going well, we take positively the views from Kenyans and the leaders from the opposition.
All right, Chege, let me come to you. What will make a formidable force in the coming elections? What could actually change in the optics of in the political optics, so that we see maybe something different in 2027 as far as elections are concerned?
My view is that 2027 will be a different ball game in terms of politics, in terms of organizing, how people are going to vote, and the different voting blocks that will be there. But the most interesting thing is that we are focusing on the Gen Zs and the Alphas and the young people to come to vote for in 2027. And I salute the young people as Mama Gen Z, because I have Gen Zs in my house, you know. I salute them. But we have one problem that we are not addressing. Our young people, we want them to vote 2027, which will change the dynamic of this country. And our young people are not like the way we have been organizing before, that you call for a meeting, you go for a meeting in, let's say maybe, for example, you go to Suna West and you find a multitude of young people waiting for you and clapping for you and celebrating you. They are on other places and other spaces, the X-Space, the what and all that. That's where they are. And therefore, going forward from 2027, getting those multitudes and influencing people, even with money, will become a bit difficult. But the bone of contention is our young people do not have a simple documentation that they can use, not only for voting, the IDs. And I've been talking about this from, and I'm sure you know this conversation. Our young people have been trying to apply for identification cards. They take so long before they come out. I don't know whether it's a government gimmick, as they are already doing it with the IEBC, because how do you explain somebody applying for an ID in January, and by June, July, they don't have the same ID? And you know, let us not lie to Kenyans. You know, as we continue saying that there is no need of politicking and going out there and speaking about politics, who will be where and all that. It's only God who knows about 2027. And for sure, the way politics is, the current president, not unless a miracle happens, and it may happen, I'm not disputing that. This is politics, and I mean, we have seen handshakes all over. You know, people are shaking hands all over. Not unless something changes, there is nobody who is going to vote him. You know, I can tell you, not unless,
you know,
the truth is,
because you cannot make such a statement like
no,
that.
Already people, why is the president don't lie to the president. Tell him the truth, because you are from his community. You can be able to text him and tell him.
It's a section of a country.
No. You can be able to tell him the mountain has tilted, the western has tilted, the wherever has tilted. It's good for him to know, so that he can be able to prepare. You know, that is the truth. How do you explain a whole president going to a certain region and people, even if they don't boo him and they don't clap, they just look at him like that? I mean, that is even, you'd rather even boo. People don't do that. You are there.
Just listening.
Actually,
no.
If people don't cheer you,
yes,
does not mean you are popular or unpopular.
Yes.
What is there? Kenyans are very funny. You can be elected with a lot of votes, with a bigger margin. But while in the office, the percentage of your popularity goes down. But over a period of time, it starts changing. Me, I don't want to say who will be elected and who is not going to be elected in 2027. That's not agenda for today.
Yes.
What we need to do now, because we have the presidency, we have the executive, let us tell them. For example, I mentioned to you, and we didn't discuss it. Let us fix the issue. Maybe people were not happy in that particular forum because SHA is not working. Maybe people were not happy in that forum because the help is not working.
Brian, I didn't
Just
finish.
A moment. Chege, learn to keep quiet a bit. Is when you can join politics. If you talk like this, you cannot be elected.
She's a politician.
No, you cannot be elected. You can be a politician, but you don't get elected. We want opportunity for you to be a good politician. For you to be a good politician, you must have opportunity to listen.
Correct.
You must listen to the ground. But when you talk throughout, you will not listen to the ground. So now, because now you have spoken, because now you have spoken, can you listen to the ground? We are now your ground.
You interjected before I finished.
No, it was my chance. It was my chance.
You interjected before I finished.
I believe it was my chance to speak. What I'm saying right now.
Who is the moderator here now?
Our work.
Just a moment, Chege.
Our work now, all of us, both those who are the government, those who are outside the government, first is to criticize constructively. Because the government must deliver. If they don't deliver, you want them to fail for you to wait for 2027, then people will suffer over a long period of time. What I'm saying is that I never voted William Ruto, but that does not mean I take a panga, sharp panga, and start cutting him through. He's the president. Now, what I want from him is to deliver. I want help to help the ministry to be operational. Let things work for Kenyan. Let money meant for student at the university be paid. Let capitation be given. Let look for a way of mobilizing resources without overtaxing Kenyan. Those are few things if the government does.
I get your point.
Yes.
I want to move to the next conversation, and this is on the state of abductions in the country and what we've been able to see in the past few days. Of course, 5 of those that had been abducted had been released. One is still missing, have not been found yet at this particular moment. And questions are being raised from different quarters on exactly what is happening in the country, with the state saying it is not responsible, yet we are not seeing investigations actually being done as far as that is concerned. The police are to some extent not pursuing these particular issues. We've been able to see what happened last year when it comes to those that had been abducted, the likes of Bob Njagi, coming out to say, of course, if the state did not abduct me, then why hasn't it invited me to give a statement as far as this is concerned? Let me start with you, Horba Kitu. Who is abducting Kenyans, from where is it?
From my perspective, and the way I've been observing the whole sagas happening, first of all, when you go back a bit, as I said, when you look at what happened on the 25th of June last year, I said it was instigated. The Gen Z thing had many things around it. There were the genuine concerns of Kenyans who were raising, the young people were raising concerns about some of the tax provisions that were not quite friendly. But also, there were other criminal gangs or people who do believe that, who don't believe in the government of the day. So abductions, and then came in, there was also a narrative that was clear that I mentioned in the passing. Recently, because of a deposed leader, one of the leaders whom we chased from parliament, you know, has taken a segment of our country and continues to poison people, creating things that are quite sensitive. At some point, there was a narrative that the government has opened alcohol to a particular segment of a region, which beats any, you know, logic, you know, any reasoning and logic. But when that narrative failed to pick, came in now the narrative about, because they know the power of the young people, so came in now the discussions about abductions that began to happen. But what is interesting,
so what you're saying,
listen,
okay.
When those people who have been abducted, there are quite a number, it was a long list. Some were found, first of all, there's even a lady who went to Kibera and reported that my photos have been removed from my Instagram and are being shared that I've been abducted. Clearly, I've not been abducted. Okay. So those narratives failed. The next one that came is you know, some caught in an accident. Somebody caught an accident somewhere. Was it an accident or he was murdered? You know, in Thika, and it had been created that this is also a scenario of somebody who had been abducted. Then comes in a few of these others who have been abducted, whom I really feel so bad if genuinely that happened. But when you find people, they are being released. They are somewhere in Western Kenya. He says at 6, I went to a party. I was left somewhere. I went dancing the whole night, and so then I came back home at 3. You believe that particular statement
invalidates the fact that somebody was abducted?
No. You've heard what I've said very well. I have not said it invalidates. I'm saying I'm just analyzing the scenarios. And some of them are too questionable. Some of them, they are looking very healthy, because when you look at Dennis Itumbi, when he was abducted last time, you saw, if that was government, I mean, government of Uhuru Kenyatta, when he abducted Dennis Itumbi, you saw when he was coming out, how much he was tortured. Now, when you look at the abductions of these other ones who are coming out, because it's still the same, if it was security, it's still the security sector. What happens, guys coming out who are very clean, well-shaved, they are talking so well. I am saying that the institutions that are concerned, that is the police, the DIG and the DCI, they should do their job. But in my analysis, I tend to believe this is a bigger narrative of driving an agenda of abduction just to tarnish government. That is why I mentioned it. There are deposed leaders who are out there who are poisoning a particular section of this country. So you believe, and they know that's a narrative you can create.
When the state is being accused of being behind the abduction, that is not the that is not the case.
I still want to tell you very well that when you mentioned that you don't seem to see the investigation, you cannot see the investigation. This investigation are happening. The police, listen, let me justify. Let me justify.
Police to appear in court and answer questions.
Let me justify. Give me time.
To do that.
Give me time. Recently, there was a police who went to Nakuru, and they apparently, I think, in the process of trying to look for some of these people who probably had been abducted. They went into a house by mistake, which I think, you said Gideon Kibet or somebody comes from. So unfortunately, I think they went to the wrong house. What were they doing? I'm sure in my thinking,
so the police did that because no, they say they were not there.
You've told them investigate, where are these people? So probably
but
the government...
when he was taken, they did not say, they denied that.
Who tells you that it was the police who abducted?
But you said the police went into his house.
I said that after when Kenyans, you know, you said investigation is being not done by police. And I told you that recently there were even cases where it was informed that there were police who went to some house in Nakuru because they were trying to look for this after he had been abducted. They were looking for, they asked the guys, we are trying to look for Gideon Kibet, if he's around here, if he's hiding somewhere there. So this tells you that government, 90% of it is not even aware where these people were. So it cannot be government abducting.
But in terms of searching, because it takes a little bit of a minute to be able to
and for you to say that the police is not doing anything, you don't see investigation. You can't
because if you're given a directive to go to court and explain the whereabouts of this particular citizen, why is it so hard to go and say by the way you're actually conducting investigations?
It is their duty. So and I'm sure that's what they'll be explaining, that we are doing something about it. It's not that they are sitting
but
pretty.
They fail to appear in court.
They sent their legal team.
Chage, let me come to you. Who is abducting Kenyans? The state has been accused, yet says we are not responsible. Right now, if you look at the political class trying to say, by the way, there's somebody that's trying to paint the state in a different way. What do you make of this?
You know, it's a very sad state of affair in our country, especially when we find our children being abducted. Some come alive, some come dead, you know. And we cannot hide our heads under the table and assuming there were no abductions. And even some leaders carelessly saying out there was some self-abduction. You
Correct.
cannot self-abduct yourself. The truth of the matter is, and that is the correct position, from anybody who is not even educated, ask our grandmothers they will ask you, who actually took these children? You know how government operates. The government, we normally say, has a long hand. And the government, we know there's a certain minister from my village, may he rest in peace, somebody we trusted very well. And he said at one point, the government can remove your teeth and tell you to go and report. Now, the same thing is happening. That is coming to bite us. Because when you find the way these young people are abducted, today, if the government wants to get you, today, you cannot hide anywhere. Irrespective, you will not go anywhere. If they want to find anything, it cannot even take the government more than 24 hours. I've seen cases whereby a certain, maybe let's use a mobile phone of a certain politician, imepotea. I am telling you, they ransack the whole place. Within 24 hours, everything is produced. So from where I sit, I feel very sorry. And for the parents who have, their children have been abducted and they have not been found, we really pray for peace. And that is why I'm saying this is a near that we must be very careful. We were at the tipping point last year, and we will not want to go back to that point. You know, when mothers are crying for their children, when mothers are crying for their dead children, when mothers are crying for their children, they do not even know where they are. So from where I sit, many people have pointed ahead in the government. And you know, there are quite a number of things that
are they justified to do that? Because
you know, for example, if we call you for a show every morning and you come late, we are sure that is your trade. You can come late. You don't have to come early. So if you come early, you'll be surprising us, you know. But if you normally come late, I'm giving a very good example. The government is, you find, first of all, our parliamentarians, they have, their work is to register, to represent, and to oversight and all that. But you find them themselves, they're the people who tell us that we were given money to push for this. I mean, it beats logic because, you know, much more, I'm not in that house, but I wonder if today I say Mosmo has come here with, no, let me finish. No, let me finish. You see, it is them who has been telling us, and there's no way you can remove that notion. Our parliament has been, is under siege because they are not independent. Them days of Akina Martin Shikuku, may he rest in peace. I am telling you today, I know I don't want to get to the abduction side. Unajua Subaru inaweza kuwa ikinigoja hapo. Tuko na deep hapa. What I'm saying is we must be very careful as we deal with these issues because they are there. Their children who have been abducted. Their children who have died. I get your point. I mean, what we are saying, the three arms of government, they should work together, but they should also be independent. But we have seen our registrators, and they keep telling us that what was happening there. Why are they talking? Why can't you tell me your fellow colleagues there so that they don't come to the public and embarrass you? Because when I'm talking, it is not you who has said it, but your fellow colleagues have already said that.
Let me give Honorable Masara an opportunity to respond to the issues of abduction.
One, I want to say that it is the responsibility of the government of the day to protect the citizens. That's the responsibility of the government. So when they are being accused, I think there's no problem about that. But this function is usually done by the IG and DCIO. So they need to tell us what they know. But also the 2010 Constitution is very clear. The oversight of police officers is not the parliament. It is the IPOA. So when it is suspected that it is the police officer abducting people, we need to hear from IPOA saying something because constitutionally they are mandated to oversight police. Therefore, we need something from IPOA, but I want also to tell the IG it is his responsibility. It's the responsibility of the Inspector General. It is the responsibility of the Director of Criminal Investigation. It is the responsibility of somebody in charge of intelligence to ensure that our citizens are secured. That's their work. We can't take it to somebody else. Therefore, they need to come out and tell us exactly what is happening. If it is not police, then who is this? Which gang? We need people to be arrested. Me, I don't want to accuse. It's not my responsibility to accuse because I don't qualify. I have no powers to investigate. But I join the parents, the pain of the parents whose their children have been abducted. Today it's somebody's child, tomorrow it will be mine, tomorrow it will be yours. Okay. So let us, on this one, we should not try to do more politics about it. Okay. What we need to put clear is that it's the responsibility of the state to protect the citizen, but it's also the responsibility of IPOA to investigate the allegation against the police, National Police Service Commission. But let me say something also. Okay. If somebody is using abduction to silence people, then I can say that trick is outdated. In the 2010 Constitution, now we have even the cyberbullying, which is a crime. So when somebody is doing something wrong, they can be charged in court with an offense, which was not there before. 3, my sister has just issued a very strong statement that we are being bribed. If you know people bribing, after this call them, I go pick my money and let them tell me exactly what I'm going to do for them. The public domain. What I'm going to do for them, because me, I know my work. Okay. What we must do and what we must accept that we are politicians. In politics, not everybody can love you. There are people who hate. By the way, if you do a survey now, Parliament is not very popular. Yeah. But will be, some people will be elected back. That's the reality. All right. So what is there? Parliament is not a very popular house now amongst the people. Yeah. Because as I mentioned earlier, some people believe we are part of their problem, of which at times some are true, some are false. Okay. So what we moving forward,
I'll give you an opportunity to respond when I come back.
Moving forward as a country is that let each and everybody be responsible. Okay. We must work as a team. That's the legislators, the executive and the judiciary. All right. She mentioned something about the judiciary which we have not discussed at all. The issue of IBC. Okay,
we'll come back and talk about that. We'll come back and talk about that. Let me take a break here on the program. Of course, 25 minutes past 7 p.m. 7 a.m. I beg your pardon. We take a break. We'll be back in a few.
Mapateme ya bolingo natie maboko na moto natini bolingo ta elali selio miso ekoki olelisa kaka miswango lisusu naleli bamakambo lokole gomelio supporter ozuaki bangagement lokole gomelio assume molambi ya fufu atala kama ina fufu ya poussière Kizima yo salinte ba.
Step into a world of emotions, relationships.
Kumbe mama, ulikuwa unafikiria kuolewa tena? Yaani unijali hata kidogo, wewe ni mbaya.
Dilemmas and complexities of life.
Mwanamke hamhitaji mwanaume ili aweze kuwa na furaha.
Love.
Vedika, kiukweli mimi nakupenda sana wewe.
Betrayal.
Mimi nilikupa kila kitu ambacho wewe ulikuwa unakihitaji. Lakini leo umeamua kunidanganya na kuusaliti uaminifu wangu.
And secrets.
Tafadhali usimwambie Sahil kuhusu hili.
Get ready for an emotional roller coaster ride filled with drama.
Sahil wangu yuko wapi? Nataka uniambie Sahil yuko wapi? Siyafanya chochote kile Sahil jamani.
Passion and unforgettable moments. Don't miss Aapke Ajanase every Tuesdays to Fridays on your favorite TV station, K24.
We interrupt this program to bring you some breaking news.
Meet the team of undercover teenage spies working for a fictional version of the secret intelligence agency known as the MI9.
This keeps happening!
They had to strike a balance between school life and their job as secret agents.
First day back at school and we're gonna be late. Shh.
MI High. Every Saturday from 10 a.m.